About the economy, sir, what's your outlook on the economy next year?
All good. Take a look. Start reporting it the right way.
That's right, Joey. This reminds me a couple of weeks ago when he says, you're looking at the wrong polls. He keeps saying that, wrong polls.
I hope he believes it. I hope he believes it so he kind of rests on his laurels, doesn't campaign too hard, although he did become president from a basement. But I don't want him to take it too seriously because I don't think he can fix it, but I don't want him to start putting Band-Aids on that make things look a little bit better for a short period of time in order to get reelected.
Biden administration is running on the fumes of the great success of the Trump administration. They're just running on the fumes of what we did with the tax cuts and the regulation cuts. Without us, this thing would have crashed to levels never seen before.
Gas prices are down, stocks are hitting all-time highs, and consumer confidence is starting to rebound.
Where do we go from here? 20 seconds to defend Joe Biden, the indefensible.
We go right back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue because we do have good economic news. But the media doesn't want to cover it. He is correct about that. He shouldn't just say, you're looking at the wrong thing. They need to communicate this better. But we got revised third-quarter GDP growth up to 4.9%. Unheard of. Consumer confidence went up 14%, largest jump in a decade. Inflation is running at an annualized rate below Powell's target, which is why he's talking about a rate cut. Personal income's up. Grocery and energy prices down last month. In the Quinnipiac poll, this part of it is really important. They did a forward-looking question. What do you think 2024 is going to be like? 48% say the economy is going to be better, and 62% think that they are going to be better off in the next year. When is the election?
Give me a medical analogy. Is the economy on life support?
Everything Jessica said is true. Facts matter, and things are getting better, but they're still pretty bad, and people are really hurting when it comes to their rent, when it comes to their food, and their energy, and everything else. So President Biden needs to acknowledge that Americans are still suffering. They can't buy a home.
I'm excited, Larry. We got the juice in printing money. We've got the Fed slowing down. We've got the soft landing. We've got broadening of the S&P 500 and the S&P 500, and obviously the Russell 2000. This is a fantastic holiday season. Rudolph the reindeer has arrived.
If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay.
The Dow's never been higher. The other averages racing along.
That bell marks a new record high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, going to close above 37,000 for the first time ever.
And if we're not elected, we will have a depression, the likes of which you haven't seen since the Depression of 1929. We're not talking about a recession. You're going to have a lot worse than that.
199,000 jobs added in November. The unemployment rate came down to 3.7%.
Overall, you got to look at this report as a big positive. We've got more jobs created than expected.
GDP for the quarter just released at 2.6%. So that's so much higher than anticipated. Remember, I was saying we're going to try and hit 3% sometime over the next period of 2 years. Well, 2.6 is getting closer, Gary, closer than we thought and a lot faster than we thought. But don't worry about the 3. We're going to be higher than 3 in the not-too-distant future, too. So we're setting economic records, and we're very proud of it. And that's, GDP were just released, and I am thrilled to announce that in the second quarter of this year, the United States economy grew at the amazing rate of 4.1%. And these are great numbers.
When looking at the GDP, it shows the economy growing at the fastest pace since 2021. And this comes after more good economic news this week, as we reported. Consumer confidence is up in a pretty big way, growing for the third month in a row.
Yeah, well, the consumer confidence report is up. We've got lower gasoline prices. We've seen inflation data come down.
And look, you may remember my predecessor promised to be the greatest job president in history. Well, it didn't really work out that way. He lost 2 million jobs over the course of his presidency. 2 million. We've created 13.4 million new jobs. We not only recovered all the jobs we lost during the pandemic, we've added millions more. We've seen record lows in unemployment, particularly, and I've focused on this my whole career, particularly for African Americans and Hispanic workers and veterans.